besides yourself, and we forget about our own inner self. Sometimes, you ever had those moments where you don't want to, like, you go somewhere but you really don't want to go, and you go anyway just to like make sure everybody's happy and everybody's okay with it, but at the same time you like you wish you would have stayed doing something else that maybe nobody would understand, but you kind of would have been more at ease with that or at peace as opposed to doing the other situation. So we do that so many times. We go to places we probably don't want to go just to maybe um, share my thoughts that go on here every day and try to share with everyone here um, what I'm feeling and what really is happening. I think on a daily basis for all of us, especially now with being, 9 months, 10 months into this change of our life and not knowing when we're gonna be able to go back up there. And since I've started documenting and kind of vlogging myself, I've noticed that uh, I we all have. And let me just go back reference points. I do start my days listening to some, like I said, usually different mentors, different positivity, or in a way more of an awareness, informational videos. Most of them on YouTube, all of them on YouTube. And in the current moment, I usually go with either my Wayne Dyer or Kyle Cease. I have a couple of individuals that I kind of really gravitate and kind of really most of the messages hit home. And I also listen to Bob Proctor. If you haven't listened to him, he has his own YouTube channel as well, and he's all about paradigm and stuff like that. So today, I was listening to some of the Kyle Cease. It was really talking about on how a lot of our habits and tendencies come from our inner child, and how we all are, still, although we've grown, we do have a lot of inner child habits for the most part of our lives. And I noticed, I've been noticing, first of all, that self awareness from the beginning of this year. I noticed that self awareness is not just about, you know, being better or thinking of others or thinking about what the outcome might be, and acting differently. It's more about understanding yourself, which is why self awareness is something that I'm learning. It's understanding how you react normally to certain things and why, and really assessing yourself. So more of a self-assessment, assessing how you are and what really triggers you, what habits eventually you do on certain situations. And I noticed that from my inner child is a lot of anger and reacting towards things not going your way, or things not turning out the way you think they should be, and how that inner child has been with me through my late 30s now, or mid 30s now, and for most of my life. So and it stems from obviously when we were younger, and knowing that most of the way we react and the way we do things and how we go upon things really starts from our young days and how we were treated at certain times, and maybe most of our parents or all those people that looked over us, how they treated us, and how we felt that either we failed them or we weren't being heard. And then we kind of have this like resentment towards our parents and towards certain situations, and it follows us, growing up. So when you get older, it's on us to kind of, excuse me, to be the parent to our own inner child. And that's what I'm kind of getting to. That it's on you to kind of really parent yourself. And when you start doing that, then you start acting differently, and you start treating yourself differently. And I think a lot of us, I know I'm speaking for myself, but we tend to forget about our inner child or our own selves. We're so busy trying to impress others or make others happy, or try to basically make everybody happy besides yourself. And we forget about owning yourself. Sometimes you ever had those moments where you don't want to, like, you go somewhere but you really don't want to go, and you go anyway just to like make sure everybody's happy and everybody's okay with it, but at the same time you wish you would have stayed doing something else that maybe nobody would understand, but you kind of would have been more at ease with that, or at peace, as opposed to doing the other situation. So we do that so many times. We go to places we probably don't want to go just to maybe, most of the time, is to please others, right? To make sure they respect you, or they validate you, because you're there. And it's funny because you're living within others' approval of you, right? And I think seeking approval of others is something we all have, right? Whether you say it or not, but we do. And I don't think it has to be only with you wanting to be like recognized. It could just be that by you doing things to hope, in the hopes that they do appreciate. And I think that road is great and all, but I don't think it's the most, I would say, functional for you as an individual, because you forget about yourself. You forget about inner child. Sometimes the inner child is sad, and you want to sit alone, sit down with that inner child and understand them, or her, and have that alone time, and just take care of that inner child. I know in society we kind of feel that you're thought of as a crazy person if you are overly sensitive, or overly, I would say, a loner. And most of the time those individuals might have a lot of wisdom, because they're able to connect with themselves, that maybe others like ourselves are not able to do that. So we don't connect with ourselves frequently, very randomly. So now, throughout this time where we find forced to be home, and we're forced to look at ourselves and forced to be with ourselves, and we're not distracting ourselves with other, what can I call it? Maybe engagements, right? We would have to be at a certain parties, after happy hour, weekends, Friday nights with our friends, dinner here and there, busy with others, but we forgot about ourselves, And I hear it so many times, and it didn't hit me hard until I was listening to Kyle Cease yesterday, when he was talking about how, our inner child is the one that kind of directs our lives now as grown-ups. And the longer we prolong the not facing the inner child, and not taking care of it, not understanding it, and asking it questions, the longer we're going to be in the cycle of not understanding ourselves. And the faster we can let the inner child be, and talk to that inner child, the easier life becomes for us. And a great example he gave was the individual that he was coaching. She believed she felt that she wasn't worthy of certain things, of respect or attention, or attention from others, and that she was being needy. And this is great for all of us. And if you felt that way, you're not alone. We've all been there, and I think I can resonate with that as well. You don't want to be too needy. You don't want to be too. You don't want to feel like you're asking for too much from other people, and it's very hard for us to receive anything. And I'm definitely there. It's very hard for me. It's very easy for me to give. I love to be there, help other people, but it's very hard for me to receive. In the sense that you can do it, I can do it myself. I can do this. Don't worry about it. I don't want to be a burden to anyone. And you're always in that mode of I can do it myself. But very easy to help others, but very hard to accept the help. And he talks about how that kind of be very self-destructive, because all of us need some type of help or even attention in a sense. And by you asking for it, it's not like you're being needy. You deserve that. You're asking for what you deserve. So there's a moment where we kind of forget that we also are worthy of a lot of things that we feel that we're not worthy of, and that stops us from receiving maybe the attention and love or the abundance or the help in certain areas that we might be looking for that we might not be getting. And I know for me, for the last couple of months, I noticed that it does affect us, especially for me. For me, the help part, right? And maybe I felt that maybe for me not seeking help, maybe I didn't feel that I was worthy of help. And that is very, very life changing because, we never really understand how much help we need, or we don't want to admit it, but we all do need it. I mean, I think the ones that I know myself, I love to help and be there for others, are the ones that need the help the most. We need some attention and some love, whether it just be a phone call or a text, or just a moment, and just you know, it's the smallest acts that don't really mean a lot, and for a lot of us, we forget that. So tuning into our inner child and talking to it. So this is why I feel like self-awareness, what I was talking about to my last, it's not just about being aware of the good and the bad, or the, the habits and what's good for you and what's not. We are individuals. What might be good for me might not be good for you as well. So, or might be not good for me, might be good for you. So I can't compare and contrast, and I don't think everybody's lives are the same. But we all have one thing in common, and I think that's we all have inner childs. We all have an inner child trauma that we went through as a young age. Maybe we were scolded. Maybe we were not given enough attention and love. Maybe we wish we had more of that. Maybe we were a lot of things, right? Maybe we were given too much praise and didn't see our flaws, and can kind of give us that feeling of centeredness, self-centered, or egoistic, or whatnot, or also maybe that feeling of you're never wrong. There's a lot of things that could have gone good or bad when we were younger, but at the end of the day, we all still have that inner child within us. And I noticed that in a lot of individuals as well, how we all would just want to have, what was that word? Maybe being heard. It's tough. I know it's hard to understand it, but just being heard and listen, right? And we all can come at one point in our lives when we just want to have the person understand us, and that was okay. And not all the time we get that, from our significant others to our friends and family. That's probably the hardest thing to do. But being okay with that is what I've learned as well. Being okay with not being understood, not having to be understood. That's one thing. And I think as a child, most of us are never understood. We want to say things, and people don't understand us because we're young, so we don't feel heard. Doesn't mean they don't love you, just they don't understand you because you're a young kid. They might not even value you, but that's fine. They just don't understand you. But as we get older, we have to we have to be heard. We have to be understood, and that's something I know I battle with, and I still battle with. You have to understand me. Why? Why not everybody is like yourself? Why everybody's different? It's because you want to be understood. And when you get to that point of understanding yourself, then you figure that others understanding you doesn't really matter that much to you, as long as you are understanding yourself and your inner child, talking to it, consoling it, giving it time, forgiving it. But my interpretation of self-awareness and my definition has changed so much in the last couple of months, because I felt that self-awareness was just where you start I guess, treating others differently. It does happen in that as well, but it was more about understanding that when you start treating yourself differently, then you're able to treat others differently. So take a note of that, right? See how we're treating ourselves. What you say to yourself. Are you compassionate with yourself? If you're not going to be compassionate with others. If you're impatient with yourself, you're going to be impatient with others. You can practice that on others very easily, but it's very hard to practice that with ourselves. If I don't make sense, you'll be there one day. But right now, question yourself, see how you treat yourself. If you're able to treat others very well, you're liked by many, you're sought out by many. But are you able to do that with yourself? So let's think about that. Let's digest that, and hopefully we get a better understanding of ourselves and our inner child. So it all starts there. So self-awareness is learning yourself, your inner child. Making that connection will bring about a different way you treat life, see others, see life, and enjoy it. Because again, we know tomorrow's never granted, but the only moment is here now, and treating ourselves as if we matter. So thank you for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.